Next item is district reconfiguration. Information will be presented about the district's reconfiguration efforts.
Keeping with the 4 teams of construction, transitions, 7th grade activities, and early childhood, will feature construction and early childhood as our corner pieces tonight. So Kelly will talk first, and followed by Mrs. Brown.
It's happening.
Just a quick update on construction. One of the most common questions I get is, are we on schedule? And we are on schedule. I wish we were ahead of schedule because you never know what the weather's going to do. But that's part of it. So just remind our patrons of just have this up here to remind our patrons of our mission statement. We are committed to excellent facilities as part of that, and then our CSIP goal follows that as well. Quickly, this is a site plan. The addition, if people haven't driven by, if they've driven by, they know that we're adding on to the west side of the building at the high school. I broke this out for you just to kind of give you an idea. Each box represents an area that the contractor has identified in stages that we're working on. So stage 1 is the furthest north part of the addition. You'll see quite a bit of steel up there already and block. They move on to section 2, and that's a natural break between 2 and 4 because that's a step down with ramps. To get to section 4 is actually about 1.5 feet lower, if you recall from the original plan. Level 2 and 1 are all the same floor level as the practice gym. They'll move on, and currently they're working in stages. It's all tied together, obviously. 1 can't be finished until 4 is finished, but it just makes sense that the contractor is working out away from the building, from near the building to out away. So currently in section 2, we've got concrete down floors in part of that area and quite a bit of steel up there as well. Section 3, we're getting ready to pour. The mechanical room floor is next on the list, and then they'll work from south to north up through that area. Renovations in the classrooms to the top of the screen we've got some sheetrock already up in there. HVAC is being worked on in the ceiling right now. And then section 4 will be the last section that you see, steel and concrete floors, and that major structure started to come together in section 4. Just a couple of pictures. This was 4 weeks ago, how the site's changed just recently. 4 weeks ago there, that's kind of looking at the section 1 from what I showed you is past that crane. So this is, as of this week, steel's up, as I mentioned, in section 1 and part of section 2. And steel delivery has gone as scheduled, so most of the steel's on site now, except for maybe section 4. And this is just a couple of photos. This is the actual mechanical room. They were preparing it. I believe this picture was taken last Friday. It's ready to be poured. I don't know if they poured the floor this morning before the rain came, or whether they decided to wait until a little bit better weather prediction. But should happen within the next 3 or 4 days if it hasn't happened. That's it, unless you have questions. We don't have any action to take as far as change orders or anything. Budget-wise, we're rolling along. We do have one credit that's come back already. But
Pretty.
there'll be, I keep telling you, there'll be a few change orders coming. They're in the works right now, but nothing that puts us out of budget.
Good,
So.
good. Thanks, Kelly.
So nothing to really report on transitions or 7th grade activities, but wanted to formally introduce Laura Brown as our Director of Early Childhood. She was on the radio this morning with me at 104.5, and She'll be with me at the chamber luncheon on the 21st. So we'll talk a little bit about it. She's been working with Mr. Hounsome and Dr. Reed on made a lot of progress with the planning process. So welcome.
Thank you. So we kind of have some big news tonight. We do have a name and a logo for our program, so that's
Yay.
coming. You'll have to kind of listen to me first, and
Yeah.
then we'll unveil that.
Then we'll
for you.
reveal.
Very, very exciting times for us. Just kind of an update from where I started. I officially started my position August 1st. I spent August 1st through 5th in Springfield, becoming certified for parents as teachers. So I kind of just jumped right in and worked, but wasn't really here, but I was very busy. I have now the foundational and model curriculum certification for both of those programs, so I'm ready to go. Am already scheduled my first home visit, so
Okay.
I think all is well in that world. We've had a staff meeting with our parents as teachers. We've already done Head Start screenings with them, and we are getting ready for Messy Art coming up on the 17th. So parents as teachers is going well. We have jumped in. We had our first play date to play group at the center today. The center lets us use half of their gym for soft play. There's mats, basketball hoops, just lots of things. We always have one parent educator there. We have those twice a week, every Monday and Thursday from 10 to 11. And we had 34 families in attendance today. That was our first one for the school year. So it was a good time. Oh, on that note, if you know anyone seeking a parent educator, send them my way. We are always looking. I've been out and about in the community passing out our little interest cards and trying to recruit. So anyone that you think might need us or want us, we are here and ready. So now on to our early childhood update. I guess this would be a good time to reveal our logo so you can kind of see our excitement. You can see why we're so excited.
Looks like the high school.
Yeah. Surprise!
Oh. Oh.
Right, so PUPS will be the name of our program, and that little pup there became the pick of the litter because he has that look on his face that's like, hey. And in all of my years in kindergarten, that's the look I got from kids when I told them something the very first time. So I decided that it just made sense that if he had that look in his eye, that was the selling. Our PUPS does stand for something. In the education world, we have to add another acronym. That's what makes it fun. So our first P in PUPS is preparing for kindergarten. Our U is understanding our needs, because we're always working as a group in the early childhood world. P, playing to learn. In the early childhood world, play is a huge part of our day. That's where it all comes from. And then our S is success in the pack. And I have to tell you that in my world of animals, I couldn't say pound, because the pound's not always where pups want to be. They want to be in a pack. So we had to have the success in the pack. And I think that's probably my favorite letter of all of the acronyms, just because this has been a huge task to get everybody together. So once we get them all together and we're successful, then everything is going great. So very excited about our logo, very excited about our name. You'll be hearing PUPS a lot now that it is out there and has an adorable little bulldog to go with it. So from the inside of early childhood, we have toured all 3 elementary buildings, kind of checked out the opportunities for classrooms, placement that makes sense to bring early childhood kids in. Traffic flow then is the next big discussion. That's a big discussion in the elementary world anyway, so we certainly didn't want to add to that. We're not firm on anything yet, but we are making great strides. So definitely some great possibilities. All the buildings have a place that can work very well. So that's definitely a bonus for us. One of the other things that we've put a lot of time into and will perfect hopefully very soon is the selection process. That's obviously a big part of this plan. We're not going to be able to house every 4-year-old in Phelps County within our district, and that's understandable. So we kind of have a rough draft right now. We have a really good idea of what could work. And then next week, Dr. Reed and I are going to take off and visit 2 pre-K facilities. I've talked on the phone with both of these, and they seem to have fabulous ideas. Their programs work very similar to ours, and so in an effort to make sure we've got all of the pieces of the puzzle together, we're going to visit them and try to wrap up that criteria to qualify. One of the things in that process is obviously PUPS registration. We have to get those kids in here. So I did reserve Green Tree Christian Church. They're always very willing to house us and all of our little people that come in. They have a great setup, and it flows very well to get our kids in and out of. And so PUPS registration will be February 7th and 8th. We have that on the calendar. We're recruiting manpower now to make that a go. And I think it'll look very similar to our kindergarten registration process now. So next, kind of on the to-do list, we have scheduled our next early childhood committee meeting. That meeting consists of 2 of you will join us there. And we have we will be adding actually some kindergarten teachers, 1 from every building. We have some private preschool providers that come to that. So that's a great way to kind of make sure we're all together and all on the same page. 2 of our preschools in town, and I have played phone tag twice with 2 more, have already told me that they are willing to add an afternoon preschool rather than just extend their morning preschool to a daycare to work with our program.
Good.
So they are
Good,
excited
fantastic.
for us to jump in and are definitely willing to work with us. So so far that community partnership piece has been fabulous. Every time I've been out in the community, I've gotten really good feedback, and everybody's ready and excited. So that's good. Finally, what I want to talk to you about, and I think is probably one of the biggest pieces to this puzzle, is recruiting these pups. That's kind of a big job. I have a list started, and I've added to this sometimes at 2 a.m. Just places pop in my mind that, oh, that would be a good place to recruit some pups. So right now, my goal is to just be out there in the community to every avenue of anyone who might have children or know of children. We're going to create kind of a attention grabber flyer, kind of a push piece, and I am just going to go to every nook and cranny of the community and recruit every pup that I can find. So I probably will be calling on some of you to make sure I've hit all of my corners on that. But my goal is to find as many of them as I can possibly find. So.
Yay.
Yeah, because the real trick in that is we really want to get the kids that have not been involved in
Right.
preschool,
Absolutely.
their siblings haven't, and those are the hardest to find a lot of
Right,
times.
right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I have a huge list, and I'm ready to go to communities and facilities, businesses. I've already been to a couple of luncheons to just get my name out there so that I'm easy to find. when
Yeah, and
people start
having,
looking.
having a name and a piece that can define, not just the criteria for the program, but where, which part of the program will a particular child fit, I think is
Right.
important too. And,
Right,
and, you know, recruiting pups, you're really recruiting their parents, you know, to get them engaged and committed. And I think part of that has to be the people that already have contact with those folks and can help us,
Yes.
like you said, partner with us to recruit those. And the sooner the better that we get that piece to them and that they understand, because most of them are working with those families on at least monthly, if not every couple of weeks, and recruiting is not just gonna be a one-time visit, it's
No,
gonna be a
no. Yes, no,
continual
it will be
process.
it will be a
Yeah.
lot of visits over a
Yeah.
stream of time.
You've got a lot of the pieces in place now. You've got a name,
Absolutely.
you've
Yeah.
got a date, you've
Right.
got
So, I
a
mean, that
location,
gives us-
yeah, so now Yeah.
framework of a plan.
Contact
Yeah.
piece in there, and then we'll be ready.
Just blanket
So
the
the-
community with pup
Certainly,
literature.
The admissions criteria will be the next major step before you can really recruit.
Well, you want to reach out to
Because-
everybody,
Well,
right?
right,
Yeah.
but people are going, I mean, one of the main questions they're going to ask is what's it going to take to
Right.
get my kid in,
Yeah.
you know, so.
There won't really be an answer.
And it's different than a kindergarten screening in that you go to register and you'll be testing the kids to find out, you know, how they qualify, and at some point after that is when you're gonna notify.
Correct,
The
yes.
parents.
Yeah,
Yes.
and all
That's gonna
kindergartners are in.
need to be made clear during this,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Pro-
communication
program.
piece
yeah.
in the recruitment will be the huge piece.
Yep.
Yeah. Great.
There was
A
a
lot of
day,
work in a
there-
month.
Yeah, I've had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I've worked a lot of corners, and it's been a good time. I've enjoyed it greatly.
there was a time when our junior high athletes were called bull pups, but that's,
Yeah.
I don't know when that changed, but that was a change for the better.
I didn't know it did.
Right, we'll bring the pups back.
So
Yeah.
where are you
When-
and Stacy going to visit?
We are going to Branson bright and early
Right.
Thursday morning, and then we're going to visit Lebanon on our way back through.
Oh, okay.
Very good.
So they both have,
We
their
saw-
criteria programs are very similar to what we have in mind. And so,
Didn't the board go to Branson?
We went to
Yeah.
Branson.
Yeah.
Mhm.
yes,
we did.
I did hear that, yes.
Yes.
And so, talking with their director, she offered me lots of information and actually asked that I come and visit her. And I said, absolutely, I'll be there. So,
I can tell you that Mrs. Brown has been very energetic this first month, and from going through the phone book, she's made a number of phone calls to other programs to talk with them, especially about the selection criteria and things that they're putting in it. And we've taken the work from the committee and trying to make sure that that all fits together. But we have a very good idea of what will work. But I encouraged her to talk with them, and because the programs that they're going to, they don't do it exactly the way that we're kind of planning on it. So I've asked her to kind of talk with them about what made them select,
Right.
how they're doing it, and maybe there's logic that we're not seeing. So we're going to learn from others, hopefully, and when they come back, we'll kind of polish up the rough draft that we have and make sure that it looks okay.
Good, good.
You
Very
have
good.
any of your PAT cards with you?
I have them right in my PAT room. It's really close. I'll get them.
Got a couple in mind.
Perfect, yes. I have lots to pass out.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you, Laura.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you.